Okay, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to prepare for printing. First of all, when you take a photograph and you know you're going to be printing it and blowing it up, you want to make sure that you take the photograph at the highest megapixel you can. Generally, if you're taking 8 by 10, the minimum should be a 5 megapixel, but of course the highest is the best. So if you have a 7, 8, even 10 megapixel, go ahead, push up your megapixel count as high as it can on your camera in the settings, and then take your photos. After you take your photo, I took this photograph on the subway. I was really smashed, and I took my little Canon camera, stuck it up, and took the photograph. Remember I told you sometimes your best photographs are like when you don't look through the viewfinder, you just do random shots. So that's what I did. Alright, let's go ahead and prepare for printing. Okay, what I've done was I opened my original photograph. Oh, sorry. Start over, okay. Okay, first of all, I've opened up my original photograph in Photoshop. But if I give this to the printer to print 8 by 10, does your camera automatically take 8 by 10 size? Like that ratio? No, it's not. Some of your picture is going to get cut off. So that's why we need to prepare 8 by 10 exactly. So what you're going to do is go to File, New, and I'm going to call this like Subway, and I'm going to call this Print 8 by 10 so I know the size. And I'm going to be preparing both RGB and CMYK. Most printers, they print best at CMYK, but as you know, when you look at it on the computer screen, it's going to look really different. And so some printers, they prefer RGB, most do CMYK. It's up to them. So I like to save both just in case. So I'm going to go safe with RGB. Now I'm going to change this to pixels to inches. My width, this is long way, so it's 10 inches. If you're going to go portrait way, it's 8. My height is 8. So 8 by 10. Now your resolution. 72 is a good resolution if this is for a computer screen, if you're saving something for the web. But we're doing printing, so we need to save it as 300 resolution. Okay? Or DPI is another way to say that. Color mode. I'm going to use RGB color. And like I said, we're going to do both RGB, and later I'll just come back and change this to CMYK and save both so I can see both versions. Okay? White, I usually like the black background color, so I'll just choose background color. And I'm going to hit OK. So now we got 8 by 10. Okay? Notice you'll see we have like the lock sign there. I'm going to create a copy. I'm going to hide the first locked background copy. And we'll call the second layer, I'm going to call this black background. And I'm going to make it a background by going Edit, Fill, and choosing black. OK, and now it's black background. Now I'm going to go back to my picture. I'm going to choose the marquee or the M key. I'm going to select all of it. And I do recommend, like, you can always crop something out. If you want like less of a picture, like you only want this much of the picture, just go ahead and select that much. And you'll notice the whole dynamics of the photograph will change based on how you crop. So one of the most important parts of photography is like your framing, like when you're taking the picture, but also when you crop your picture in Photoshop. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to just select everything, Control A, and then I'm going to hit the V or the Move tool. I'm going to just drag it over to my other print mat. Now, if your photograph is about the same size as your mat, that's great. That means it's about the same size. It's going to be great quality. You're good to go. Now, if your photograph is really small like this, bad news. Basically, you're not going to be able to print this because it's going to be really pixelated. It's not going to work. You're going to have to go and get the original file or get a better quality photo. So do not move the size bigger and make it bigger because you'll just be pixelating it. But notice my size. Notice that at the bottom it doesn't go all the way. It's not 8 by 10, my picture. I have to make the picture 8 by 10. But if I resize my picture and I make it bigger, am I going to see everything? No. Now, right now I can see my everything from top to bottom, but notice it crops out some of the sides. So I have to make a decision. Am I going to take out the sides on the left or the right? Do I want it like this or do I want it like this? That's the decision you have to make. I can also choose to like make it like this if I want. If I want her in the corner, I can just choose to like resize and recrop it that way too. So right now we have it ready, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. And I'm also going to save a copy because right now it's a Photoshop file. Some printers, they prefer print from Photoshop because it's the best quality. It's the original source. But you should also save it as a picture format in case that computer doesn't have Photoshop. So I'm going to save it as a JPEG. TIFF would probably be the best, but that's the largest format. But some printers do not print TIFF, so you want to print JPEG because it's a uniform, universal format. So I'm going to hit JPEG, save as copy. RGB is fine, and hit save. Okay. What's really important? Make sure it's on maximum quality. Okay. After I do that, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Image Mode. And I'm going to change this to CMYK. And I'm going to hit Merge. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Save As. And change my file name from RGB to CMYK. And hit Save. And then after I hit Save, I'm going to save it as a JPEG as well. And then you're going to take those files. Should be about 4 files. Put those onto a USB drive and then take it to your printer, print shop. If you have a printer at home, you can try. You would need to buy a glossy photo paper and then make sure your printer is really good for printing color, and then you can try that. And what's really, really important and difficult is to make sure you crop the size when you cut it out. I wouldn't use a scissors. I would use like a crop tool to crop off the photograph. But the safest and the best is probably a shop, and you can. I've already told you a bunch of places where you can print those very cheaply, if that's a word. Okay, good luck on printing.